going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening, everybody. I'm Mayor Bryant. I was pretty excited about that public hearing. It wasn't the outcome that some people would wish, but normally we have public hearings and we just sit here and look at each other. But that was pretty productive, and I like it. So hopefully it gets resoluted. We'll definitely move forward and do whatever we can. What we want to do is make it safe and orderly for the citizens. We promote businesses. We're never going to turn it around, but we need to do what's best for everybody. Okay. We'll go ahead and move forward with the approval of the April 24 meeting minutes. You guys are aware we didn't have a council meeting last month, so we're going to catch up on our meeting minutes and then financials for the month of April and May. So, we don't have the minutes at all. Okay, all right. I apologize. We don't have physical copies of the April minutes, so we're going to pass that. And we do have in each one of the packets, we have the financials. So we'll go ahead and move for the approval for April or the review of April and May's financials. If you look at the screen, this is the month of April. We always have our 5 accounts. And our general operating budget for the month of April, $355,000. Our schoolhouse museum fund is still at $36,000. Splosh is at $26,000. FEMA $1,800, and American Rescue Plan $26,500. As I move into the month of May, general operating account $372,000. Schoolhouse is still $36,300. Splosh is $28,000 from $26,000. Yes. FEMA $1,500. Is that a decrease?
Yeah, that grill for the park
Oh.
was out of that.
And American Rescue is still $25,700.
It's
Yes.
decreased.
I'll find out why there's a decrease. Is that a typo?
That's pretty good.
Okay, listen to what I'm going to say. Do I have a motion to approve the April finances for 2024? April 11.
Make a motion that we approve the April financial report for 2024.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, I need to know why that's different before I make that approval. Leah, on the funding for the American Rescue Plan, so for the month of April it's $26,500, and May it's $25,700. It has decreased.
We switched it, we moved the money because we had only gone into the general operating, because you guys use it on the account. But that is FEMA. Remember, American Rescue Plan? That we did from 2
The Americans put that on.
but that's the code.
That's what I meant, yes, I'm sorry.
That's what we did it for. That's our.
So,
Yeah.
so what,
Yeah.
you know the answer? Or-
Well, I don't know for sure.
So I don't feel comfortable, let's not approve. Let's,
You guys wanna do the minutes
yes,
and then we'll go.
are you gonna do it, I'm gonna continue going on with those other things. No, it's just approving, listen, it's just the month of May, we've got July's coming up, we're not skipping a month. So we'll rectify it, but I need to justify why that's a difference.
Yeah.
And then in the future, I need to know if not the operating, but the other accounts. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're not going to review or approve, or ask for a motion to approve those or for the May's financials until I understand why there's a delta in the American Rescue Plan. Normally, those accounts, we don't touch that money. General operating, it changes all the time, but the other ones, there are clear definitions and justifications for those. Until I figure out why, I don't want to approve that just yet. That makes sense?
I mean, we go to the, it's $800 difference.
Yep.
There's an $800 check written for Puckett Septic and grading, unless that's just.
That's what we would buy.
It might
That's
be
what it
a-
was.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
we
of
had
the
to
overfill.
transfer it
Yeah.
because you guys paid it out of general.
Okay, all
That
right.
was the one thing that would use it for.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. And I am the one that said we could do that because it's
Yeah.
coming from that funding.
Yes, you
Okay.
did, yes.
So that makes sense. We had to pay for that septic because we've already approved for the overfilled lines to be improved or repaired in the park. And so last month there was because of the heavy rain, we had to pay to get the septic cleaned out because the overfills are backfills, right? So we already have that job pending. We're waiting on from Denise. They're waiting for the building permits, and then that's going to be improved. But I had no other choice but to pay to get that septic cleaned out. That's what that difference was. Of a cost of $800.
Cleaned out and they added it.
Cleaned it out and then added
A riser.
that riser so it could have easily access, right, Jerry? And that's all good to go and done now and things like that? Okay, awesome. So, do I have a motion to approve the May 2024 financial?
I make a motion that we approve the May 2024 financial report.
Do I have a second? All in favor? That's unanimous. Okay. All right, so we'll go back to the approval or review of the April 2024 meeting minutes. Do we have a copy for everybody?
Yes,
Yeah,
they're all
pass it
here.
around.
I'm sorry. Do those two, Caleb and Jason, have it? No. You did? All right, so this is the line, if we approve it, I'm gonna sign this one. What are these for?
They're just,
Just with the fee.
yeah, please.
All right. Okay, do I have a motion to accept the April meeting minutes, April 2024?
Make a motion to accept April 4th meeting minutes.
Do you have a second? All in favor? It's unanimous. Okay. Jason, sign this one. Run it back to me, I get to sign. Okay, awesome. All right, next is summary of maintenance, Jerry.
Different pit drives, some of the drain line was stopped up at the park over there, and I dug it out yesterday. Them, azalea bushes that they planted years ago, had grown into the drain line on that side, and they're just stopped up from over the years. So that's just what I've been tinkering with.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm probably gonna start on that shower, so it's not working right now if anybody asks. The lines are just stopped up.
And this is the shower here?
No, at the park over
In
there.
the park, oh, behind it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great. And then I just sent, Leah's gonna order those soap dispensers.
Yeah,
So just get with her and tell her how many that you
Okay.
need. And then we'll get that fixed. And then I will publicly put out on social media when the park will be closed for the repair of the fill lines and those, they're replacing all the commodes and stuff in the park.
yeah.
So I will let everybody know, publicly know, because we're gonna have to close the park for at least 2 days for that. So yeah. Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and move into old business. So this past weekend we had our inaugural 2024 Bronco Stampede. It was really successful for putting this on or start planning it probably less than 90 days ago. So we're pretty excited about it. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, and I want to apologize to everybody. My son got invited to a football camp up in West Point in New York. So the Bronco Stampede had been established, and then he got invited, and we're trying to get him to college. So I took him up there. So, but I followed it on social media and talked to my wife, and I just want to personally thank each and every one of the volunteers and all the sponsors. I won't steal Jeannie's thunder, but I can't. Again, this is one example of this town is so small, but we make so big punches, right? I mean, we really just do things on a grand scale. And if someone can see the size of our town and the infrastructure that we have and the limitations that we have, and we still put on Heritage Days and the Easter Festival and now the Bronco Stampede, we're trying to get people into this community. It's super awesome. We had a lot of great feedback. We had a lot of lessons learned. We know what we need to do to improve, and that's the most important thing. Is that when we put this program back on again, what can we do to improve it? What can we do to make it easier for the citizens and less stress on the town itself? So, Jeannie, if you'd like to stand up and give us the rundown, we'd really appreciate it. Now, you got to come over here so they can see you on the camera.
Okay.
She loves speaking in front of people, so.
This is not my favorite thing to do. However, to piggyback on what he said, I do want to thank all of the council members and the two Marys for being so critical to just the success of our first Bronco Stampede. We went into it just head first, and I would like to think that it was a success. We picked two beneficiaries, just as we always do, an animal beneficiary and a human beneficiary. And so the animal beneficiary this year was Save the Horses. And so we're excited to be able to give them about $1,000 towards their sanctuary that is here locally in Talking Rock. And then the human side, we really want to keep and figure out a way to really kind of support the town of Talking Rock and its residents and community. And so we're in the process of setting up the T-Rock's Village, which is to piggyback on the T-Rock, who is the community snake, rock snake over in the park. We want to be able to use T-Rock's Village as a way to keep the support going within our own community. Things like as simple as keeping the food pantry stocked, and various support for our citizens. And so we're going to jumpstart that with $500. So all in all, I think that it was a success. I know that the Bronco people and the Bronco community are looking forward to next year already. So we're excited.
How did you come up with those charities?
We wanted to keep it within the community, and so we always pick Talking Rock, Heritage Days, all of the events that we do, we tend to pick a human and an animal beneficiary. So for Save the Horses, we kind of figured that kind of ties, they're local to Talking Rock, it ties to the whole Bronco theme. And then, like I said, we definitely wanted to figure out a way to establish a community fund for Talking Rock citizens specifically.
And what was estimated, the revenue that came in for the event?
So all in all, we probably brought in, the event total profit was around $4,000.
So we're still, the reason why it's not exact was all the sponsorships, but there was a cash box for some of the sales,
Yeah.
and we're still waiting to count all that money. Once we establish that, we'll be able to identify exactly how much money was made, but
Yeah.
estimated over 4,000.
Estimated about 4,000.
That's not really bad for the size of our town, and we had about 500 folks, right?
Yeah, the attendance was approximated at close to 500 that came down through Talking Rock.
So a lot of great lessons learned, and if there's any charities that the citizens would like for us to get involved with, please let us know. We usually try to ask what's beneficial to the community, and so that's what we came with it. We're not locked in those for the future, but if there's any other charities that we want to look at, especially coming up with Heritage Days and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just
so
let us know.
with Heritage Days and with the planning coming up, we still need to figure out what community benefits that we want to work with for Heritage Days. So.
And we want to give thanks to all the volunteers. There were several, Jason, and what about the sponsorships themselves? Do you have the list of those sponsors?
Yeah, so Schottenkirk was our premier sponsor, and then Off-Road Trading was a secondary sponsor, and then we had Moose and Annie and Talking Rock Brewery as well from a monetary perspective. And then from a non-monetary, which gave us the opportunity to make some money, was the Canoe Vineyard and Buckley Vineyards gave us the opportunity to sell our wine cruise tickets to go towards the beneficiary funds.
And then also the trails.
Yes, and then J19 offered up their trails as well, opened it up to the Broncos that wanted to go off-roading. So we're very thankful to J19 for allowing us to offer that option to those that wanted to go off-roading.
Okay, awesome. Anything else?
Awesome.
Do we have a total on the expenditure, what it costs the town?
It costs the town nothing.
Tell about Schottenkirk and their contribution.
Yeah, so Schottenkirk's premier contribution was $5,000. So that basically launched us, and so we didn't take anything from the town at all.
That's the great thing that we talked about and we want to gear towards is that the one thing that allows us to have these successful events, i.e. Heritage Days, is the sponsorships, and both Mary's and everybody else has been really awesome getting that in. But again, we talked about this in the Heritage Planning Committee, is that the more sponsors that we get, the less it is on the burden on the town. And we've proven that for the last 2 years, how that growth has happened. So we know it's out there. We just got to knock some doors down and introduce other people. But, bringing in Schottenkirk into that was really a blessing.
They were a critical piece to us being able to launch that, and they definitely love the Talking Rock community. So I know that they'll be involved with us well into the future as well. So.
It benefited them on a business standpoint as well. There was a couple folks that bought Broncos this weekend, so I think they were pretty excited about it. So yeah, but I appreciate it. I hate missing that, but again, I'm super excited about the ability to put on these types of events, and I know that you guys are talking about additional events in the future, like our Chalk and Rock and some other things.
Yeah, the Chalking Rock, specifically, we really want the Chalking Rock to go to the schoolhouse fund. So that's a big one that, the rain unfortunately kind of put a damper on that. But that is one that we definitely want to relaunch and put back on the books very soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, awesome. All right, we'll move into new business. If you look on the chart, number A is vote on the dividing parcel. This is the 011008001. This is the property that you just saw from Mr. Bennett. And so, remind me, what is the total acreage that he is separating the 5.7?
74.7 acres.
So 74 acres that Mr. Bennett owns, is that correct, sir? Did he leave?
His brother, he does own 70-something acres.
Okay, all right, 70 something. All right, so he has requested to divide a parcel of 5.07 acres. We've seen it, and this is only, I'm asking a motion just to subdivide this 5.7 acres, nothing else at this point. So do I have a motion to parcel the 5.07 acres from approximately the 70 acres?
I'll make a motion to divide the parcel 011018001.
Do you have a second? All in favor? That's unanimous. Okay. The and I don't have this. I can't show this digitally. The second property, or is that on there? I don't think we have that, right? Or was
Yeah,
it?
it's on down
Or
further.
is it?
Yeah. Right there.
Okay. All right. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me read that before I. So the next one is B. I'm sorry. As you were. We are tabling item B and item C at this time. We're moving to D, vote on dividing parcel 020-080. If you look at the screen, this is the property. This is the other, this is Nick, right?
Yes, sir.
So Nick, different from the other Mr. Bennett. This is, how many acres do you have total?
Zach Bennett, which is the other brother, has
Yep.
125, and then I bought mine at 5.25 off of it.
So the request is to parcel out 5.25 acres from the approximately 125 acres. Any questions from council? No? All right, do I have a motion to divide this 5.25 acres out of the approximately 125 acres?
A motion on dividing the parcel with number 020-080.
Do you have a second? All in favor? It's unanimous. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Thank y'all.
Okay, moving on to E is vote on the alcohol license for the Boxcar Grill. This is the new food restaurant that the city has leased out the property, the Boxcar, for Tony. Are you the only owner? Folks, yeah. So Tony Hawf, who manages and runs the Talking Rock Brewery, is also going to do the last Boxcar. It has sat there for like 3 years with nothing. It's changed some hands, but now Tony and his family have decided to turn that into a restaurant, and he is requesting an alcohol license for that. Council, do you have any questions or concerns? And as we discussed in the working group, he expects to go into operation within the next 30 to 45 days, sometime into June, July. No concerns. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve an alcohol license for Tony Hawf and for the business Boxcar Grill?
Make a motion to approve it for the Boxcar Grill,
What are you approving?
the alcohol license.
Do I have a second? All in favor? As you add 3, Tony's system. Okay. All right. Next on the agenda is F is the vote on the city manager position. Leah, she has decided to step down from our clerk, and the reason is not negative on her whatsoever. We have confirmed, or I have confirmed, that this responsibility as the town clerk is extremely busy, and it has grown over the last couple of years. So today I had some great conversations with both the mayor of Jasper and the city of Nelson to get some guidance on how they run their business and how they do their town clerk. So I have decided to change the title of the town clerk to city manager. And Caleb earlier in our working group had brought up a question about that title, and I wanted to explain it a little bit more. If we were more broadened or a larger community, we wouldn't have a city manager and a town clerk or financial specialist. They would fall under the city manager, right? But because of our size and we only have one employee, I'm going to establish the city manager today, which is the responsibility of all the clerical administrative assets of the town. So eventually when we become 1 million people and grow that big, then we can have a city manager and a town clerk and things like that. So I've asked the council to consider putting a request out to the citizens and the community to look for resumes for a city manager effective tomorrow. And this is going to be a full-time position. In the past, it has been a part-time position. I believe we're past that. We're growing so substantially that this warrants this change. It will be a full 40-hour week. And then we'll talk about compensation for those folks that submit resumes. But we're looking forward to that. And I've always said it before, and I've always talked to the town clerks, and again, the community, I can't give it enough. I don't do a thing, and all the people around here in this room do fantastic things. You're looking at Dawn right here that resigned a couple months ago, and she's back. I can't emphasize the family environment and the people that care about this community. And she's not even a town citizen, right? That's how many people care about the town of Talking Rock. And I could sit here and I thank Dawn all the time, and I can't adequately articulate the words. I would just love to bear hug her and say she's absolutely phenomenal, and she's the one that saves the day, right? And I pray to God, and she's the one that saves the day, and I want everybody to know on record is that, James, anything you need, right? And I can't thank you enough for the council and myself. You're phenomenal. I absolutely love you and adore you. I think you are an absolute rock star. And so I thank everything you've done. So she helped with the transition with Leah. And Leah, in a very short time, has done a fantastic job. She keeps it going. But she agreed. She said, James, this is a bigger responsibility than what I assumed. And it's hard to understand that until you get into that role. And so she got into that role, and she did it the best she can, but she has to think about her family and her current situation and other things that contributed to this. And she said, hey, I think you need to look at a different direction. So that's what we're going to do. She has agreed to stay on for the next 30 days until we do this transition. So we're excited about looking at resumes. We're looking for the best people that are qualified to help us in state and local government to be able to help us move forward. Some of the things that we talked about with grant writing and just day-to-day operations, our building permits, how we take that in, and it's our responsibility now. You don't understand how difficult and challenging that is. I was praying to God that someone else was doing it and I didn't have to worry about it. And so to have someone dedicated 40 hours a week, I think it warrants for it. So we're super excited. Leah's not going anywhere. Dawn's not going anywhere. They're still part of our community, and they're going to assist and help out volunteering in other ways. So again, it's not two positions. It's the town clerk of the city of Talking Rock will be renamed the city manager. And because that's what that individual is going to be doing, is managing the town of Talking Rock. They're the ones close-knit. They're the ones here every day sitting in the office. And I'm super excited about moving forward to this, and so I hope the council agrees with me. Do you have any other questions or concerns based off our working group? Okay. Do I have a motion to allow us to hire a full-time city manager effective immediately?
I make a motion that we hire a full-time city manager effective immediately.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? That's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Next on the list is vote on the mayor pro temp, and that is Tony Hawf. We've talked about it for the last year. We just never put it official until I effectively became mayor on January 1st. This is pretty simple. We've all been aware of it. So do I have a motion to officially make Tony Hawf mayor pro temp effective immediately?
A motion to make Tony Hawf, mayor pro temp, effective immediately.
Do I have a second? All in favor? That's unanimous, or that's three. Sorry. Okay, next one is, do I have a motion, the H is to remove our formal town clerk, Kristi Andersen, from the Talk Rock bank accounts. So since Leah, right now how we have it set up, Leah, because her transition, we're not going to go ahead and have Leah on the bank accounts. I'm on the bank account and Linda's on the bank account. So Leah will continue writing the checks, and then both Linda and myself will review and sign, because it's just for the next 30 days. But we do need to remove Kristi Andersen, who is our former town clerk, from those bank accounts. So do I have a motion to remove Kristi Andersen from all five of our bank accounts for the city of Talking Rock?
I make a motion that we remove Kristi Andersen from all 5 of our bank accounts.
Do I have a second? All in favor? That's unanimous. Okay. Okay, all right, lastly, we're almost done. Please bear with us. Last one is vote on the use of our LMIG funding. We have potential funding for the year 2023 and the 2024 in estimated around under $8,000. We can effectively identify to everybody what that is. But we need to spend it, or we need to allocate some work that we think would benefit the town so we can get those fundings. I'm going to turn it over to Leah with the help of Dawn to discuss where we're currently at with that.
Okay, so we've had a quote for a footbridge that goes over the creek.
So if I can, that footbridge, if you imagine, so we have Blackwater Station and we have the park, right there in that area. So because there's a lot of traffic, we've seen it in our events, and then heavily traffic during the weekends where people shopping at Blackwater Station and wanting to come to the other businesses over here. I just, it scares me, the safety hazards of crossing that bridge. So we've talked about this in the past. One of the things that we could look at is putting a footbridge over that lake, a very attractive bridge that would be would meet all the safety regulations. That's why we're going out to a physical company on that to build that divide, and people can go across that for those businesses. Any other comments or questions about that? You're the one that found the estimates.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I just think that's the next thing Talking Rock needs. We need to connect those businesses down. And I think it'll be just a destination. I think people love to just go across the bridge for one thing, or stand on it, stare down the water, and it's going to look good. And like I said, it's going to keep all the people out of the street.
And we're still moving forward with our research and how we're moving forward with the grant proposal for the street lights and the sidewalks. You know, that's a long process, and I've talked about it in the last couple of the meetings. We still have to go through GDOT and come up with those plans. We're not letting that go, but again, as we move forward, getting someone full-time in here working with the contact Ms. Meadows, we're trying to build the grants for that. We're talking millions and millions of dollars. So this is something that we could work around with our current budget and with this LMIG funding to possibly make this happen, okay? But the problem is, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Leah, explain that we have to have those estimates in pretty soon?
By the 15th.
15th of this month. Yep. So that's in 2 days. So.
Yes.
Well, we have to have, they don't have to have 3 estimates, we have to have 3.
That's right.
I mean, with we don't deal with all that with them.
No. No, this is
So
just, we're gonna submit that, and then that just shows that we're putting monies towards that, and then they're gonna match that for the LMIG funding, correct? Yep. Our actual part could possibly be more, but at a minimum, they would provide us that funding. Do you know those, we know 2024's is what, it's 4,000
That's the total,
total.
with the 30% match that we have
Yes.
to do,
Yep. Can you explain that again, the 30% match?
Okay. So they have a certain amount of money that they will give you, but you have to match it 30%, making the total the 4,000. And then there's 3,500 or 3,300 from last year.
And our estimates are clear past that, so we will be able to fulfill that money that's provided. Approximately less than $8,000 for 2023, 2024. But we do have an outstanding question is to confirm, as Ms. Sams had told us, how we can confirm if we can use 2023 funds as well.
Yeah.
So that's not guaranteed for the 2023.
You have to have special permission in order to do that. But I have a question for Leah and Dawn. Have y'all looked into the requirements on using the, what's it called, the $26,000 that's in the, yeah. Go
We
back and
have-
look at, is there not some way you can use that on the footbridge?
Well, the thing is, it normally says the specific things. The only thing we found that we could use it is water and sewer. Now, I went to a luncheon where all the cities were saying, oh, we spent it on this, we spent it on that, and they were giving what they spent it on, and they spent it on other things like sidewalks and things. So there has to be a way around that, or that they've increased the usage of it because people aren't finding other things. Because initially it was made to help financially when you had to put up barriers for the COVID stuff, or you had to pay people extra money for working, for during that.
But when I left office after that was established, they had not set in stone what you were going to be allowed to use it for.
Yeah.
It was going to change over time. And at one time it was considered infrastructure, which would be a bridge. Now, be it a footpath bridge, it'd be worth calling them and asking them.
What account are we talking about?
The ARPA?
ARPA, yeah.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you-
It's
Seth, can
called ARPA or COVID money or
Yeah.
Can you
SLF.
Is there a way that you could find out what exactly we're allowed to use that funding for?
I've emailed them and they've sent us brochures or whatever that I have sent out.
So we can't simply
to
ask them
everybody.
and show them those estimates of what we're talking about and they say yea or nay?
You might be able to, now that we have an idea of what you want to use it for.
Yeah, yeah.
Because before we didn't have it
Do you have
there.
the contact, Cleta, for them? If we could find that and see, hey, we as a town would like to use it for this, is it possible to allocate those funds?
And SPLOST has, $28,000 in it? I think you could probably use it for that as well, because right now SPLOST can be used on park. And that is a part of the park.
But just to make sure we're on the same sheet of music, we're only voting right now to use the LMIG funding towards the bridge. These are other
Right.
things that we
Just
can use.
ideas,
We're not going to
yeah.
do this starting tomorrow. We
Right.
just have to establish by the 15th those estimates
Right.
submitted to them. So we've locked in that funding.
Is there a construction date that you have to start the
No.
project?
The only date is to provide that estimate to lock in the 2024 funding.
Because realistically, it's gonna be, and we start working on it, it'll be next year. We may pick up next year's too.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you do only have so many months to use the LMIG. Because if you don't spend one unless you have permission, you can't apply for 2024 if you've not spent 2023, unless you ask them permission to combine the two.
Does that make sense? So we'll talk offline, but we're gonna make sure that we're meeting the requirements of what they need initially, which is those estimates, right? Okay. Great. And then that locks that in, we're gonna say, hey, are we still good to go for 2023? And and then what's the stipulations, and I'll report back to the town to let them know when that money has to be spent. Maybe that's a deposit or things like that. Okay. All right. Any other questions from the council? Okay.
I have one
Yes.
question, and it's kind of more Seth, and it's regarding the town, or the city manager position. Do we have a city manager position in our charter? Do they have to vote to add it?
I'll have to look at it.
Okay.
I believe there is.
There is, okay.
Yeah, I was told today that one, I could create whatever name I want, and city manager would be a good thing for the duty descriptions that I showed the other two councils.
Yeah, so I could just confirm that, but yeah.
Best I remember is we reserved that section, but we didn't participate at that time fulfilling it, but we wanted it in there so you didn't have to go back and redo all the numbers in.
And I'll take the risk and say, hey, it's the clerk administration responsibility. I'm just naming it as city manager for advertising. But if that is an issue, I'll bring that. We're going to hire a manager, and then we'll just add that to the charter. Okay. So let's get back on the LMIG.
All right.
Do I have a motion to utilize the funds in a walking bridge?
I'll make a motion that we utilize the LMIG funds to help build a footbridge across the Talking Rock Bridge.
Do I have a second? All in favor? That's unanimous. All right, awesome. Okay. Okay, great meeting tonight. Next council meeting is normally on the first Thursday, but the first Thursday of July is what? Anybody know? July 4th, right? So we're going to push it 1 week till July 11th. We still will have our 5:30 working group here, and then our council meeting will start at 7 p.m. Right? Any other comments, concerns, questions?
I have a question that several of the citizens here in this circle are concerned about, is that with all the money that you're planning on spending, will you please consider paving 2nd Street and at least patching the holes in Old Blairsville Highway? They both need to be repaved, and there's getting to be some sizable holes in Old Blairsville going up the hill, and we would really like.
Is that up by the church?
No, this is down here as you go up this first hill.
Oh, okay.
On the right hand side, there's several little potholes there, and we would just really, and there's several places where it's still caving off and cracking, and we would just appreciate if y'all would please consider at least get estimates.
Yeah.
I mean, 2nd Street back here is falling apart.
I agree. We've talked about, though, we've talked about some things that we're talking about 2nd Street. But these potholes, Jerry, can you confirm and show me? And I'll definitely get an estimate from, we're not going to utilize the folks that did the park because we can't get a hold of these people anymore. But I'm going to reach out to Johnson Paving. They've done some paving before. And yes, if there are repairs that need to be on that old Players, we get the estimate.
Here's one thing to consider. The last time that road was paved, it was because the county had a major water line blow and it washed out that road, washed it all the way down to the dirt. When they came in and repaved it, they did not repave it properly. They didn't put down the base they were supposed to before they put the asphalt on top. So it might be a possibility that you could go to the county and say, hey guys, because y'all didn't do it right the first time, this is what we've got now. And
Do you know estimated when that year was? What year?
I can tell you Frank Martin was in office. It goes back that far.
Okay.
But they waited and came out here on a Thursday before Heritage Days
Is
and
that
did
is that road tied in any way to the 2 acres that we sold to the county?
yes. Because Old Blairsville goes all the way around and comes back into 136 up past, goes in front of the brick church.
Okay.
So now part of that road is a county road, and they've come in before and paved from 136 back to Telona Street. So I don't understand why they couldn't come on. I mean, we pay just as many county taxes as anybody else in the county does. So why can't you come in here with some of that and at least fix what you created, you know, to
Well,
begin with.
that's good. You said that we're still working out the responsibilities for the new fire station, so maybe that's possibly that they can help us. But if they don't, we still could use money splosh, right, for repairs, whatever
I think
account.
that is, for park only.
Oh, okay. Well, I know there's an account for the repairs. We have.
LMIG is
They're
road.
paving that station they.
Yeah. Okay, I'll reach out.
Rob Jones had at one time $150,000 reserved for a fire department in Tocino. So need to see where that's at in their budget.
Okay. What's his name?
Rob Jones, he was the previous commissioner.
All right. Cool. Yeah, they have the 500,000 already is set for the new fire station, but I'll look into that. Okay. Yeah, Jared, don't forget to identify, look at those repairs.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, anything else? All right, long, productive meeting. I do really appreciate it. Again, next meeting is July 11th at 5:30 for the the working group, and then 7 o'clock. Do I have a motion to, do you have any questions? Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?